Chief Justice Rush, Chief Judge Altice, judges, justices. So good to be with you all again, and to every Hoosier that's live streaming with us right now as well. Another important day. This is the 6th time I've been honored to appoint a judge to the Indiana Court of Appeals, and I'm just as moved every time as the first time. Certainly that's the case today, knowing that and being reminded each and every time that the court and our judiciary is in such capable and great hands. There's a high standard and a reputation that goes along with that nationally about our judiciary, so I do want to kind of single out our Chief Justice, Loretta Rush, for steering us and keeping us in this place of prominence. It's noted well beyond our borders. And it may be all sweet to her, but it's bittersweet to me, personally, to see Judge Robb and her family move on to the next chapter in their lives. I will miss her. We will miss her. Indiana will miss her. Throughout her entire career, she has been a trailblazer. And she leaves, as you know, an enormous amount of space and required opportunity to fill. Thank you for your service all these years. I couldn't, again, be more grateful to our Judicial Nominating Commission itself for, once again, just the breadth and depth of review and inspection and the thorough and thoughtful process that is underway each and every time. Certainly it was the case, as I shared with the Chief Justice, you all don't make it easy. 3 overly qualified individuals for this position. And I don't take it lightly. Some may say I take more time than I need, but it's such an important decision to be made. Every one of the now 89, I think I have 98 in the queue, but 89 judicial appointments that I've announced to date has only made me personally and professionally more confident, more optimistic, more proud about our court's commitment to the rule of law. And I have no doubt that this next judge who will take the bench on our Court of Appeals will in turn continue to contribute significantly to that sense of optimism and confidence and pride. And so without further ado, congratulations, Judge Paul Felix. He was born up in Elkhart and, as you described, felt early on this pull to pursue a legal career, a compelling desire to serve and protect that maybe one day you'll elaborate on, a real passion for preventing domestic abuse and violence, and a real heart for helping our youth, something that has become thematic throughout your entire life and certainly career. That burning desire led him to and through IU Mauer, and I can say with all certainty that you have left a mark ever since Mauer to date that is both extensive and enduring. He's demonstrated his commitment through his service to so many different causes as a Johnson County deputy I think you said for a decade, as a Carmel City Court judge, and then now for the last 14 straight years as the elected Hamilton County Circuit Court judge, where you have again underscored and earned the reputation as a very positive difference maker both on and off the bench. You total all that up, and that's over a quarter of a century of contribution. You've handled cases on the criminal side and on the complex civil and business side of the house, and had such a unique experience and experiences in multiple places around our state and in multiple subject matters. And you've accumulated over those years this kind of reputation as being an innovator and an initiator, an embracer of change, someone who understands and respects and wants to contribute to the system, the administration of our courts. That approach is why so many spoke so highly of you. And we repeatedly heard about your compassion and about your fairness, about your dedication to the rule of law, about your compassion for equal access to justice, and to the juvenile justice system specifically. And that's all high praise, and I couldn't agree more with every word. And those traits come out very quickly when you spend even just a few minutes with Judge Felix. He sees people, as you often do, maybe always do, when their lives have been turned upside down or ripped inside out, when they're at their last wit's end, don't know where to turn. But again, that word passion for people shines through in and outside the courtroom. And that's, as we discussed, in part, I think, why you channeled that or focused on building the teen safe driving program and the Hamilton County Youth Assistance Program that has produced real results. Impressive. And one colleague put it that they saw you as someone who believed in that phrase, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's easy to say, but thankfully you have done it. And as I mentioned at the very outset, and lastly, his involvement with our youth has been both thematic and impactful. And so it's also of no surprise that you're not just a member, you're very active. Some might have said hyperactive when it comes to being involved with the Kiwanis and the Boys and Girls clubs of Noblesville and the Scouts and the YMCA and the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Indianapolis, and heard that, I don't know if you've ever said no to students, local students who have asked you to come present on civility and on the Constitution. And you see those students go on to also receive national acclaim. Your personal and professional qualities are impressive, and your accomplishments equally so. But I suspect sitting behind you are yours and Nikki's greatest accomplishments. And hard to describe how proud you are of them, but I enjoyed more than once hearing about that pride. And I can only suspect they are of you as well. And so for those reasons and so many more, congratulations on joining your new colleagues on our state's Court of Appeals. Judge.
Thank you, Governor Holcomb. It is an immense honor to have received this appointment to serve as the next appellate court judge. Thank you for your devotion to the judiciary of the state, your care and deliberation to each appointment, and there have been many, will leave a lasting impact on Indiana. And thank you to your team. They do an amazing amount of work vetting each applicant, and their commitment to this task and to you is quite evident. Of course, before I got to meet your team, I had the honor of meeting your appointees to the Judicial Nominating Commission. The three of them, along with the attorneys who were elected by the members of the State Bar and Chief Justice Rush, do yeoman work in reviewing each application, talking informally to each applicant, and then interviewing each one of us in a public setting. I want to thank each of you for the commitment to that task and taking the time to talk with me, learn about what makes me tick, and why I wanted to serve in this capacity, which I'll get to soon. I also want to individually thank Chief Justice Rush for your leadership. You appointed me to committees that have been fulfilling and meaningful. You have encouraged my love for teaching the law to others, and I am grateful to your devotion to the bench and bar of the state. Thank you. I want to thank all the friends who have helped me through this seemingly never-ending process. You helped me edit my application, prepare for the interviews, and I think after the end of this very long process, there have been over 20 interviews. You made phone calls for me, wrote letters on my behalf, and along the way, helped me become a better judge. Thank you to Judge Maggie Robb. It dawned on me last night while I was talking with my wife that in every judicial post I have served in, I have always followed the impressive work of a trailblazing woman. First, Judge Bardock in the Carmel City Court. Second, Judge Proffitt in the Hamilton Circuit Court. And now you, Judge Robb. The difference here is I didn't know them before accepting to serve after them. For you, Judge Robb, it feels b'shert, meant to be, to have met you when I did. Your support and encouragement each time I applied for this position has helped me overcome fears and inspired me to work harder, to follow in your legacy of judicial education and mentorship is humbling, to say the least. Thank you. To my colleagues on the appellate court bench, I am happy to call many of you friends already. Whether we have fished together, judged moot court competitions together, made local trial rules together, served on the same committees, or performed zany yet informative CLE skits together, or whether we're just meeting for the first time. I pledge to be a partner in our work together and one who will strive to be considerate, conscientious, and clear in everything I do. To Justin Faulkner and Stephanie Bibbs, you both were stellar applicants. I actually rue the day I decided to read both of your applications. I was and am impressed in your legal acumen, experiences, and accomplishments. Now, getting to my why. My story required me to tell the details of my life that I don't often share, but those stories influence my life and my desire to serve the public. Thank you to those who push me to explore and develop those stories fuller. One such story from a day back when I was a deputy prosecutor that I'd like to share today. Now, while I do have a much longer version of the story, I think that I can highlight my commitment to serve by this much shorter version of the story. Now, after securing a conviction in a domestic violence trial where, as so often happens, the victim did not want me to prosecute, a member of the jury afterwards, after the trial, came up to me, found me walking in the hallway, walked up to me, shook my hand, and said, "I wish there was someone like you around when I was a kid." I think about that juror in everything I do. How can I improve the lives of those who need a hand up? It drives my work in our local youth assistance program, juvenile detention alternatives assistance, youth justice oversight committee, and in the drug court. I look forward to serving the people of Indiana in putting closure to the long ordeals of their criminal, family, and civil lawsuits. I also look forward to providing a springboard through programming to those who need to get out of difficult situations. Now, my mom, my sister, and her sons are here today. I can't stop thinking about how proud Grandma and Aunt Shirley would be to see this moment. And Mom, thank you for being the strong woman you are. You taught me resiliency and determination. I love you. My children, Nathan, Alana, and Paxton. Now, you three really know me. You know my dad's side, my goofy, dorky side, and I know you have to be sitting there wondering, how did he accomplish this? To that, I say step number one is try. Don't give up and work hard. Finally, I want to thank my girlfriend of 30 years, my wife, Nikki, has had my back throughout. She is always the first to jump on board with my ideas and then push me forward when I think I may have reached too high. I love you. Governor, I'm absolutely humbled and immensely honored to serve. I will stay true to my commitments of judicial restraint, consistency, and the fair and blind application of the law. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Judge Felix. I've known you for a while. He's usually tapping me on the shoulder saying he'd like to get involved in something, and I usually say yes. So you've been a real judicial leader. And we look at the changes that have gone on in the court with regard to innovation. There's hardly a pilot either you or one of your cohorts up in Hamilton County didn't volunteer to spearhead. From pretrial release to different forms, the youth assistance program, you picking that up and working that. Thank you. Thank you. To Danny Lopez, I know you're here. The Judicial Nominating Commission, it's not an understatement to talk about the hours that they put in with regard to vetting and talking and vetting. And Chief Justice Shepard said, what are you talking about that long? When we're talking, well, you gave us, they're great candidates. And I want to thank Stephanie Bibbs and Justin Faulkner for applying, again, two outstanding, eminently qualified lawyers that put themselves out there. To Judge Robb, first woman chief judge on the Indiana Court of Appeals, 25 years on the bench. Judge Felix, you got some work to do because she's not done. She's still tapping me on the shoulder saying, put me in, coach. And as a senior judge, she has taken on a lot of responsibilities and will continue to do. So I'm very happy that we'll continue to have you, and I personally am, very happy to continue to have you in our leadership role for this state. So Judge Felix, on behalf of my colleagues in the Indiana Supreme Court, welcome. We're there for you. We're there to help you. We want to see you succeed, and we know you will. Congratulations.
I think most of us in this room are feeling, man, I remember back in those days when I was going through this, or your colleagues know where you are right now. And all I can say is congratulations, Judge Felix. We've known each other for a long time. And most importantly, welcome to the Indiana Court of Appeals. So we're very excited to have you. You certainly know what it takes to be a judge. As we've heard here repeatedly, you've tried many, many criminal cases, many civil cases. You've prosecuted many cases. You know your way around the courtroom. But what's more important to me and to my colleagues and to everyone else associated with this process is when you leave your office every day and close the door, your job's not done. It's more than that. And you're out in the public, in the community, out in the legal field, and you've just done a yeoman's job in that regard. I was going to list all of these. They've been listed twice of all of your accomplishments. But I do want to emphasize the point that you're a doer. And that's what our court is made of, are people that do. You've got big shoes to fill here, very big shoes to fill. I promise you that we'll supply you a couple extra pairs of socks as you work into those shoes. And Judge Robb, you've been a great leader for our court, and the governor and Chief Justice were correct. We thank you very, very much for your service. But back to you. We're excited to get you here in the court, and Governor, Commission, Chief Justice, thank you for the candidates that you put forth and the candidates you picked. As I counted, I'm like, well, we've had 5. This is the 5th judge that you picked. I forgot about Moulter. He was only here for 6 months. So, but we'll include him as well. But all 6 are doers. They get involved in their community. They get involved in the Bar Association, in the legal field, on committees. And thank you for giving us those individuals. Thanks to your staff who do an incredible job of vetting these candidates. And we know that when we get them, that they are worthy of coming to the Court of Appeals. So we thank you for that. Excited to have you. Congratulations again. Congratulations to your family. You guys will always remember this day. So awesome stuff. Thank you and welcome.
Before we break, any questions for the judge or for me?
It's been mentioned by everybody who spoke about the trailblazing Judge Rob Walker and what big shoes you now have to fill. How do you approach such a challenge?
That's a great question. Well, the first thing I think I'm going to need to do is learn the job of being an appellate court judge. As I pointed out a few seconds ago, I have a few friends already on the bench, and I hope to be able to use their wisdom and their tutelage to find my way around the court here. This is my first time working in Indianapolis, actually, now that I think about it. So finding my way around the city will be something, too. But as I did in the trial court, once I find my way around the basics of the job, I begin looking for other things that I can do. I trust that that is the way that I will work here as well. Looking for other things to do, as Chief Justice Rush mentioned just a second ago, if I have to tap on people's shoulders to find out what there is to do and how I can help, that's what I will do. Thank you.
That actually led perfectly into my second question.
Wonderful.
Obviously, in the Court of Appeals, you have more leadership role in the judiciary. Is there an area that you particularly passionate about that once you've gotten acclimated to the job, you want to impact?
Yes, and the governor referenced this as well. I think, and it relates certainly to my story that I was telling about and my growing up, that I am particularly pushed towards helping children. I think finding or creating programming that will help children get out of difficult situations that they didn't choose to be placed into, that they were placed into, in giving them a hand or creating a springboard to help them out of those difficult situations will be the area that I look to first and foremost, which is, as was pointed out, the reason why I got involved in the Big Brothers program and Kiwanis and Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative and Youth Assistance Program. If there's something that I can do for children, I'm usually there to help.
Do you think that'll be any more difficult trying to do that from the appellate versus being directly involved in the prosecutor's office and the county court?
I'll tell you that I hope that the influence of a statewide position will make it something that, while if it is harder, and I don't think it will be, because I still have the same capabilities to go. I still live in Hamilton County. I still live in Carmel. I still will have the opportunities to be involved in the programming that's already there. I'll still remain involved, but I'll be able to use, at least I hope, to be able to use this this platform to promote that programming in a statewide approach. You know, why keep programs that work so well, so local, when it can be statewide?
Thank you all.
Thank you.